Ms. Farrell assumed the role of President and CEO of Trans Mountain Corporation in August of 2022, just 2 months before the October 2022 awarded the $32.9 million non-competitive contract to McKinsey and Company for professional services. Was she involved in any way in recommending or facilitating the McKinsey engagement?
I do not know if she was the original originator of recommending McKinsey, but as I mentioned earlier, the approval of the sole source to McKinsey was approved by the senior leadership team, including the CEO, which is Don Farrell at the time, the CFO, the Chief Project Execution Officer, and the Chief Commercial Officer. So it was reviewed and approved by the senior levels at Trans Mountain.
Thank you. Under Ms. Farrell's tenure, the cost for the Trans Mountain project ballooned from an initial $7.4 billion to $30.9 billion, and by March 2023, over $34 billion. That's over 5 times the original estimate. Why?
Well, I think that is the case that's in front of the CER at this point in time. And I would say that there is in-depth evidence given into that process, and that's still an ongoing rate case hearing. There were a number of contributing factors, and I don't want to go into too much detail because that is really the purview of the CER to assess all of those reasons. But there was, sort of a very unique period of time in the regulatory development. There was a lot of natural events that occurred and force majeure events, and there's a lot of contributing factors overall. But I would say that we really need to defer the CER process on that.
So for me personally, the reason why I asked this, I find this very concerning because she is the new the head of the new major projects office. And with a track record of going 5 times over, I personally don't think that Canadians would be delighted to hear that she got $700,000, a brand new $700,000 a year job. That's why I'm asking these questions, but I'll move on to another question. The Auditor General highlighted that the Trans Mountain failed to properly follow procurement policy rules. In your view as the CFO, how did Ms. Farrell's leadership contribute to these failures? And has there been a review into the decisions made under her leadership to make sure that this kind of problem doesn't happen again?
Well, I would focus it in onto the procurement decisions of Don Farrell. She has been in business for an extended period of time. She is very familiar with the procurement policies. As you mentioned, she came into the company, well after construction had started and well after that $7.5 billion number was in place. As far as the procurement strategies go, the decisions to sole source are absolutely appropriate, or not appropriate, but acceptable, or they're an allowed practice within our company and within our policies. And at the time, we were spending significant amount of money, hundreds of millions of dollars per month on construction, and McKinsey brought very unique and specialized skills into the company. And I know that that's what would have been discussed at the leadership level at that time.
I understand that. I understand that, but can you understand that when the Canadians look into this and we're 5 times over budget and a $32.9 million non-competitive contract was given out, it's a big concern. And now it's an even bigger concern that she heads the major projects office. As the CFO, what oversight of financial approvals, what kind of guardrails and checks were in place in the contract to make sure that the value for money was achieved for this $32 million contract?
Yep. Well, certainly for a contract of that magnitude, it would have to go right up to the executive level for decision-making approval. So, and then, as I mentioned, it was originally let as a 6-month contract under various terms of fixed price, cost recovery, as well as value for delivery. And so it was an ongoing measure that the contract extended only if value is being delivered.